So they moved to the States, they made a shed load of money, they dumped on the royal family, but now the Sussex's new documentary on Netflix about the Invictus Games went live at about 55 minutes ago.
It did. So shall we hear some bits that have been broadcast so far? Prince Harry is here explaining what inspired him to start the Games.
Well, personally, I don't think we should take anything away from Harry and his Invictus work, because apart from anything else, he's not talking about himself. But has it helped? You guys have seen it here. We're joined by two people who spent the last few minutes watching. Journalist Tiwa Adebayo, who thinks the rebrand is working, and the couple are moving on without the royals. And anti-racism activist Imarn Ayton, who thinks that they're desperate and a rebrand... Well, you thought originally the rebrand wouldn't work, but actually, you've just watched that, and you're holding your hands up and saying it's pretty good stuff.
For Harry.
For Harry.
Not necessarily for Meghan, but for Harry. It does remind me of why I used to like him in the first place. It was very inspirational, I'll give him that. But in terms of the rebrand, I don't actually think it's going to work. In terms of the damage, I think that's already been done.
Does Meghan appear in it?
So far, we haven't seen her. No. So it looks like it literally is just very much him. And I think that works for their brand because, again, you almost have this kind of interesting dichotomy of this couple that is one celebrity and two royalty. And it's almost as if these kind of opposite worlds are coming together. And with Harry, we get this kind of moment where we just get to focus on the royalty, just get to focus on who he is and just get to focus on him and his brand. And I think that will be helpful for them both moving forward.
Imarn, we do connect Meghan in our minds, don't we, with the Invictus Games, because it's when the public first saw them as a couple and she arrived there and did it. Is this a positive step forward? Can this rehabilitate them?
I think it's a huge step forward, but I think it's interesting to think about this term of rehabilitation because what they've done so far, make no mistakes, they've been incredibly successful. I mean, Spare is the fastest non-fiction book of all time. Meghan's podcast was #1 in 6 different countries, award-winning. Everything they do has had huge impact.
With all due respect,
I think that was actually that was a decision. That podcast was hugely successful. Even the CEO of Spotify.
So why was it dropped?
It wasn't dropped. It was a mutual decision. Even the Obamas stopped working with. It wasn't dropped. It was a mutual decision. They stopped working with Spotify. When you've got something that successful, you might want to shop it around. Exclusivity is not always helpful.
Well, if it was
even the Obamas did the same thing. They stopped working with Spotify.
No, she's got a point, though. Surely Spotify would have clung on to the contract and said, whoa, we're quids in with this. We're not letting it go.
They might not have been able to. It's that successful. And also, Archwell is its own independent entity. They're able to shop things around, but the numbers don't lie. That podcast was #1. It unseated Joe Rogan, which was top of the charts for 3 years.
All right, but let's talk about this documentary, because what's interesting is here we've got somebody... You came in specifically this morning because, you're anti them as a couple and what they've done and the image that they've presented. And you've almost been brought round, I can tell. It's coming up as a very positive vibe.
No, it really doesn't. Like I said, again, the biggest issue is centred around the fact that they've almost kind of done this weird transition from full-blown royalty to full-blown celebrity. And so as much as these things are really helpful, like this particular documentary, it doesn't negate the fact that the damage has been done. There will be forever a cohort within the UK and abroad that will forever associate this couple. Well, let me just finish, please. They will forever associate this couple with insincerity, betrayal and fueling the culture wars, and that is the issue.
I don't think that's true at all, because we only have to look at how respected they've been by their peers. I mean, just this past weekend, we saw Meghan's mum photographed with Kim Kardashian.
Which is a celebrity move.
You've had the likes of Serena Williams and Mariah Carey. These are all people that have
Serena
very
Williams
carefully
didn't actually invite her to her baby shower.
Brands.
Mariah Carey has almost stepped back.
They were on the podcast.
You're mentioning things that have almost gone awry. I'm somewhat
She hasn't
confused.
stood back. These are people that were very willing to be associated with the Sussexes. These are people that have got very carefully crafted brands, and they're only publicly associating with Meghan and Harry because it's good for their brands. Meghan has just signed with one of the biggest talent agencies in the world, WME. They are the best in the business. If they bet on brand Sussex, I don't think they're wrong.
Well, unfortunately, we have to leave it there. But it's dropped and it's playing, and it does remind us of the wonderful things when Prince Harry was here that he did do.
Yeah.